Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Parallel League podcast. Mookah and I are joined by a couple of amazing pro players today. We've got Feno and Zeli on the desk for this sort of pre-top 16 major show. So we're going to get into what happened last weekend from the first major here and talk about some of the players and what we're expecting to see. But before we get started, let's just go over some announcements real quick. Again, so the Top 16 broadcast will be this upcoming weekend. Very exciting. Prime Open 4 will be on July 19th, so almost a month. The huge .66 patch just dropped, and it is wonderful, Mookah. I just want to say, probably one of the best patches ever in terms of UI and everything, so big hats off to the team there. And of course, deception cards are being announced on X, so check the social posts for the reveals of some of the new cards for the new expansion. So we've got Feno, a fan favorite content creator, been on the show before, happy to have you back, and Zeli, runner-up of the World Championship. We haven't had you on the show yet, so it's really exciting to have you on this one. Both of you just barely didn't quite make top 16, so how's that feeling? Probably not amazing, but I'd love to get a little breakdown from both of you just on how were you proud of what you brought to the tournament? What would you done differently? That type of stuff. Zeli, let's start with you.
Okay, so this tournament I was very proud with what I brought, because I brought literally my favorite deck, which is Iraq, which I was trying to make work since a million years. I made it work once. I went second in that tournament last year. I was trying to make it work for Worlds, but I didn't make it. And this time it was very good, very, very good. But I literally just misplayed all the games I lost. So it was in between not having enough preparation, because I'm playing a completely new deck with a card that was disabled a long time, and then probably I didn't get enough sleep as well and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel very disappointed on not making it, because I felt like the lineup was very good and it was very fun to play as well. Iraq, Iron Jesus.
Mookah, you have the data. Was he the only one that brought Iraq?
There was a couple others, but he went the furthest, I think. That's just off of my memory. But how many people brought Iraq? No, he was only one other person, so 2 people brought Iraq.
Wow.
By the way, my Iraq only lost 1 game in the entire tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, I was watching. So I did go through the tournament for us on the studio side. So it was cool to, as I was going through round by round, seeing the players and seeing Zeli with Iraq. I didn't follow the Swiss as it was happening. So as I went round by round, I'm like, hell yeah, Zeli, he's doing it. He's doing it with Iraq, because Iraq's my favorite Paragon too. I love playing Iraq. I think it's for the combo players. It is the combo Paragon. You can do so many wacky things with Iraq. It's a ton of fun, and I think that's why I like it a lot. But yeah, it was only one other person that brought it, but Zeli did get right there with it.
So Zeli, you would run it back, the lineup. You're saying the biggest issue for you was probably just misplaying, but
if I sleep well day 1 and I don't face Lambi, I go 7-0. If I face Lambi, I go 6-1.
Okay.
Because literally the only one that could theoretically beat me was Lambi, because his lineup was very hard into mine. But yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's move on to Feno real quick, and then I want to come back and talk about Lambi, because he absolutely smashed it in his lineup. But Feno, you brought Kathy, which you were saying actually did quite well for you in our little pre-chat here, and then Scipius and Nehemiah. So tell us about your strategy and what you thought of your performance and your decks.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I've played a lot of Scipi. I just love Scipi, so it's kind of the deck that I've played the most. I didn't really have that many games with the other decks. So when I was discussing what should I bring, I was discussing with Zeli what should I bring for the tournament. A lot of things changed, because in my mind Scipi was just the best and unbeatable, and because I've never lost with it. It's actually I play a ladder and most of my games are wins, so it's I just assumed it was the best deck. But Zeli was right back then that he was saying that if you play against really good players, it's a completely different story. And that is for sure true. And I kind of realized it in the tournament. But I think what that meant was that I didn't really have much time, I think, to play the other decks that I maybe should have played, like Gafar or these new things that popped up. Like even Zelly said, like the Ogen Core was something that I didn't really think was that good, but it actually ended up being way better in the tournament than I thought. But I actually think I played pretty well in the tournament. I was happy with how I played. I had like this crazy game when I was against Perp, when I was 2-0 and we were 1-1 in the series. And it was 100% loss. I literally have lost the series. I would go down to 2-1. And he did like the craziest like things that could happen. And I drew the best card out of like 20 cards. And I won a completely unwinnable game. So I was like, wow, like 3-0 now. I should have been 2-1 like 99.99% of the time, right? So
Wow.
all of a sudden, I just really believed that I could make it. Then I lost the last game that day. Then the next day, I did well. I just lost the final game. But I think I played well. I think my lineup was pretty fine. But, you know, when you play against Ogencore in the Universal specifically, I feel like there's just some hands that, like, it just doesn't matter what you do. Like, the coin hacker, they play Ingrid.
Mhm.
Okay, like what am I supposed to do after? You know, it's like some games are like that. It sucks that happened to like my last game actually, but it is what it is. I think I played well. My lineup could definitely have been better, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, you came in 17th. I mean, just barely didn't. I mean, I suppose the three
Did I?
players. Yeah, I think on the top on the stats, I think you were 17. Yeah, but it was only the top 13 that made it because Igor,
Oh, right.
Carola, and BlizzConjan, get their spots in there.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
Mookah, so you've got the data. So let's go over some of the stats of what we saw because Fino, you mentioned like Uni that came back. Like there was a lot of
Yeah.
people, at least in the top 16, there were 7 people that brought the Uni shop, which I thought was fascinating because it's been a while since we've seen a big representation from Universal Workshop, like for a while now. So yeah, Mookah, walk us through what did we see?
Yeah, so from the Paragons that were brought, the top 2 were Scipius. So out of 67 players, 54 of them brought Scipius. So a ton of Scipius. Also Nehemiah, which is like, the plague of the ladder, I guess. If depending on the players that you ask, they see a lot of Earthen nowadays. 42 players brought Nehemiah. And then the 2 just under that were Neve and Universal Workshop. So 24 Neve and 21 Universal Workshop. And when you get to the line, I guess beyond that is what is the minimum of what most people were bringing. So like Hasty Gafar, there's 15 players, 13 unit Cathys like Fino, and then from there it's just 10 and under. It's like 8 New Dawn, 6 ADHQ, which actually did pretty well. I think was it Harold that won with ADHQ? I think that he made it in the top.
Zarathustra
13?
as well.
Yeah, Zarathustra. Yep. There was 3 Brand, 3 Asio, 3 Juggernaut Workshop, and 2 Iraq. The Juggernaut Workshop in Iraq, like, dude, that was amazing to see the combo that came out of this tournament with the fragmented plating and the Master Poisoner. The board wipe, like, instead of relying on the anti-organic pulse, they went into like giving a unit that can suicide with fragmented plating, the Master Poisoner muster. You run it in, and then the Aftermath ability just kills the whole enemy board, and you keep your whole board. That was very cool to see. I have a clip, maybe we can put it on here in post, but like it was a very, very cool thing that I saw, and I was like, dude, this is sick. I was so happy that players were doing this. This and for Unit Catherine, Ruthless Sergeant coming back. That was a card that hasn't seen play since like Alpha, and it was something that in Shotgun we spent a lot of time being like, how much do we revert? Because they went through a couple nerfs from the beginning of the game's inception, even more than when I remembered in Alpha. So we had kind of like fought over the line, and we ended up with what we chose, which 3 cost 3/1, and it saw play. People played 2 of them, and we're getting like good results for them. Fino, I think you played it too, right? Did you? Yeah.
It was really good, dude. It was way better than I expected. Like, I think it's really nice for Kathy because like a lot of the times you just need this like extra board clear or something that just to get through like the finish line. And I think it's like the perfect card for it. Yeah, it was great actually.
Yeah, I just love that card because it's very Markolian. Like, it's like, I will burn my stuff to kill your stuff, and then you kind of like, it's this aggro race. Like, are you giving up resources to go take out their enemies and push for game? So I was very happy. All of us in design were super happy to see that card see play and in abundance for all the people that brought Unit Catherine. So that's kind of like the breakdown of what was brought.
Wait, real quick on Ruthless
yeah, go ahead.
Sergeant. Flux and I, when we were casting the last tournament, like the
I
only
remember.
time we actually got to see it on the cast was when it was cast on like turn 3 or something, and it was a risky play. So for opportune moment to play Ruthless Sergeant, probably in the late game. I don't remember the exact matchup, but you're usually not casting it too early on in the game, right?
Not really.
Okay.
And the
all
thing
right.
with it now is that I feel like now that a lot of lists don't play the Triumph anymore, it's kind of easy to
Mhm.
play it like mid game even as well, because like I don't think you need all that like energy anyway. So I feel like even and the thing is you don't even need to do 3 like I don't know suits, I guess, with it, right? Like you can just shoot
Mhm.
twice or something.
True.
So yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So, based on what Mookah just said, like, what do you find the most surprising thing about what was brought, in that breakdown there?
I mean,
Like for
for
Asia, I
me,
me,
guess.
like Unit Kathy only having 13. Sorry, Zayla, go ahead.
I think Asia is just very bad in BO3 environments. I brought Asia to the minor before, by the way, and I experimented with the deck a lot. I think Asia is a BO5 deck for sure, because what Asia wants to do is counter the slow decks, right? So Asia wants to face Shroud, Asia wants to face Earthen, Asia wants to face like Ogencore, stuff like that, right? Asia don't want to face CPUs or Cathy, right? So like the issue with bringing Asia to BO3 is you cannot protect it very well, because like if they have CPUs and Cathy, you're already in a very bad spot. And also Asia has another issue is consistency is very bad, because if you deck out like too many subjugates or too many triumphs, you are in a very bad spot to deck out or like to put pressure. Sometimes the deck doesn't struggle decking out. Decking out is actually the easy part. The hard part is surviving, and the way you survive is putting a board that matters, right? And the way you do that is triumph. So if you deck out too many triumphs, you're in a very bad spot.
yeah, I'm very surprised with Acio from Harold, who I have his accolades up right now. He's only topped before in Open number 3 of this season. He got top 8, but he had Acio, ADHQ, and and Neve, and I was like, that's such an interesting lineup. And I'm kind of in line with Zelu. I was like, I don't know if Acio was the move, but he was able to pull through and do well. He went 5-2. I think he was like the top performing X2. I can't remember off the top of my head, but like, and his deck was interesting because he didn't even run like triple swelling tide. He only ran like 1 copy. So I was like, there's either a level of there was like a level of comfort, I guess, in the build that he had, but it was like different than what I would have expected to see. But shout out to him. Like, I think, what did I say, 3 Acios, and he was one that topped with it. That's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
So he was probably banning the low to the ground stuff, and maybe
Yeah, he's banning like
because
Scipius mostly, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly.
Actually, he was benefiting from Cathy not being that popular. If Cathy
Yes,
was
for
popular,
sure. For sure.
he was. I mean, I was benefiting from that as well. But yeah,
It's a good read, right? Because like you don't maybe the idea is like because fleet support unfortunately wasn't working, a lot of the Cathy players just moved off it to like another deck rather than trying to figure out Unit Catherine. And then he's like, all right, well, if they're all gonna stick to go to like, I don't know, Unishop or Earthen or Shroud, then or even Augencore, then there's a better chance for Asia to do well. That one was very interesting.
yeah. And Fino, you said that Unit Kathy did really well for you. So I don't know. Every time people doubt the Kathy, she's still good, you know?
She lives. She definitely does live.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Kath is one of those decks that is just like it has the good curve always, like you will always kind of have like a similar curve, like really pressure. And I mean, to me, like nothing really has changed much in Kathy. Like I feel like the new one drop, the new vehicle that you play is like completely fine. Like I don't even really miss the Bloodhound transport that much. So it was completely fine for me. I really liked the combo it had with Researcher, that you can draw cards with it. And I mean, I was always like, Unit Cathy was like one of my favorite decks ever. Like, I remember back in the day when, what was the name of it? The Caravan, the 3 mana that ramped you back in the day that now is 4. What's the name of it?
LSC.
Logistics
LSC.
support cruiser.
Yeah, right, that one. Yeah, that one was like one of my favorite decks ever in the game. So I've just been a huge fan of Unit Cathy ever since. And I remember just like asking Zelly, like, what should I bring Cathy? And he's like, Unit Cathy is good. I'm like, sign me up, you know? Yeah.
I'll take it.
But funnily enough, I think Cathy is probably on the worst spot it has ever been. I think every deck has an argument for being like contender for top 1 or top 2, and Cathy is like straight up like mid. You know, it's not bad. It's like mid.
I mean, to me,
Right
the
now.
only thing that kind of felt weird about the Cathy is like the Ogen matchup, because like the token is just so strong against you that like a lot of the games, like if they just like are even early game, then they just play the token and you're like, I'm screwed now. There's like a 3/6 like out of nowhere, you know? And
Mhm.
yeah, I think to me that was like the only thing that was kind of tough. CP is still like, because I wasn't banning CP, so it was like also kind of hard. So yeah, I would say it wasn't like the best pick, like overall probably, but it did really well. I still beat a bunch of CPs and a bunch of Ogens, so I think it's like it's even. You're not really like favored or very unfavored, I'd say, but it was still fine.
Yeah. I don't have win rate percentage, but I just have raw wins. But of the Cathy was brought 13 times, and it was banned like middle of the pack amount, so like 16 times across the whole tournament. But it won 43 matches, so it did do well. It won.
The thing with
a
it is that
decent
it's really
matches.
good against the Shroud, and there's a lot
Yep.
of Shroud, right? So
Mhm.
like you can say that it's not great against certain decks, but there was so much Shroud. So anytime someone had like a Neve against me, I was happy with it, and a lot of them were actually banning the Cathy. So I think it was good.
Yeah, what gave you guys the hardest time in the tournament, do you think?
Me, it was my CP winning. Now what it was against, I feel like it didn't really matter. Like it was, I played a lot of mirrors. The mirrors are like, I don't know, like if you play against another player that's also good, you know, it's like if you go first or second, you kind of draw the right cards. And I mean, it was still hard because like I feel like the Neve players, if they're good, like it actually makes a ton of difference against CP, like in comparison to someone that's probably not as experienced with the deck. Like,
Mm.
and I think that that's kind of to me what in general happened with CP was that I've kind of played a lot of ladder where you probably queue into a lot of like weaker players or like not like major, you know, level players, let's say. And then once you queue into the really good players that have played it a bunch and have like played against CP a lot, they kind of know what they're doing way better. And CP is the kind of deck that kind of does the same thing over and over, like pretty consistently, and it repeats it like I'd say it's one of the decks that's like the most consistent, if not the most consistent. So I think the good players can get an edge there because they can just know how to play against it better in a way.
That makes sense. Yeah, Zelly, what about you? What gave you the hardest time in the tournament, do you think?
I mean, so my lineup was very weak into Uni plus Shroud. But I saw the lineups, and the only player that had that was Lambi. So I was like, okay, I'm safe, right? And the issue was me misplaying with Neve. Like actually, that was my issue. My issue was my own Neve. I didn't play the deck that much on prep because I dedicated most of the days I had to Iraq. And then when I started playing Neve, exactly what Fino said, right? The really good players know what to do, but I was like very rusty on the deck. And one time I Neve into Miasmancer with the CP. Like CP was played and the monster of Miasmancer was played with it.
Oof.
And I did it and I was like, wait,
Oh.
that was not the play though. And in that exact game, I missed lethal twice because I was tilted before. But the lethal was very narrow. The lethal was doing lethal with fatigue with the 2-cost spell, right? So I just make them draw cards and they
Oh,
fatigue
brand's
and die.
expertise. Got it.
Yeah, they fatigue and die. Yeah.
Oh, with Brand's expertise, you mean?
Yeah. I could have lethal
Ah.
with picking brand expertise off Wong and doing 2 brand expertise,
Mm.
making him draw 2 and he would have died. It wasn't that easy to see, but
That's
I
pretty
should have
frank.
saw it. I should have seen it. I should have
Yeah.
seen it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Me
good. Still, you're
proving-
reviewing the matches, right? Like,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that's got to be like a regular thing that I feel like doesn't get harped on enough when people are trying to play at like major or any tournaments. Like, they don't go back and watch their games and are like, okay, this is what I could have done or couldn't have done or whatever. I think you two do it a lot.
I mean, I was telling Zelia about this because he was telling me he was mad about that, like, because he told me like he knew the mistakes he did exactly right away, and the first thing I told him is at least you saw the mistake, because I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
people just like move past it. They're like, oh, I was unlucky or like blah blah blah. But I think if you actually know what happened, that's like where it's at, right? Because I mean, you can't change it now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how you get better,
I-
right? Just be
I think I
critical.
just remember it to trauma. I just get traumatized because I made a mistake. And I was like, okay, I'm never forgetting this.
Yeah, how the strength of your mental, do you feel like you struggle with being able to recover? Like once you realize that you misplay, like are you the type of player to be able to snap back into it, or does it really affect you for the rest of the game?
No, I definitely lose control of the game sometimes when I made like a very obvious mistake when I made those, and I struggle to come back into it mentally. Like for that game, for the next game doesn't matter, but for that game, I normally lose control of the game very easily. I probably need to get bailed out by draws or something like that, because I tend to suffer a lot from that.
It's tough. Zelly, you mentioned Lambie, so I'm gonna segue into some conversation there. But I want to point out that Igoric, Yarla, BlizzCon Jan, Lambie, the top 4 seeds going into the weekend are all Devmons. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty impressive, to
Yeah,
say the least.
I have something to say about that. I know why they are there. I already dissect everything about their group. I know why they are there, and I think I know what I'm missing. Right? So like
Let's hear it.
my personality is more like creative guy, bringing up with new decks and stuff like that. But then like I pull up to a tournament, and then like with the standard deck that I'm bringing, I don't have any prep. Right? Like when I'm bringing the Nehemiahs, the Neves, the CPs, I have like less than 100 games on all of those, because like I'm prepping the other decks because they take time, basically. So like the good thing about them is they have like Neef. Like Neef is the cornerstone of like the entire group, basically.
Yep.
They are all insane Neef players, like just insane. All of them know how to hand track very well, and they basically have one treasure scheming over you all the time, because they already know, like your starting hand, they already know. So they don't have to scheme to scout, basically, because they are very good at hand tracking. So basically, they will always bring Neef and whatever other 2 are strong, right? And they only have to practice whatever other 2 are strong, right? As in, for me, I'm bringing a new deck that I have like little practice on, and then 2 standard decks that I cannot afford to put practice on, because I'm putting everything on the new deck, basically.
Okay. Fino, would you
That's-
agree with that assessment?
I don't know. I think Zelly was yapping a bit there, but I just think they just play the game a lot. They understand like the basics of the game really well. I think their decks are always like pretty clean, and to me that's the number one thing in Parallel. Like I feel like no matter how good you are, if your lineups and your techs and everything isn't really like up to date, let's say, because I know that happens to me sometimes. I'm just like not super up to date. There's a card that I don't really know how to play good with. Like I keep asking Zed, like, why is this card here? I don't get it. Like I don't understand. And he just tells me, for example, like why it's there. Then I will like, oh, okay. I think they're just really up to date with that. They kind of know their techs, because I feel like in this game with the banking system, and especially in tournaments, it's super important to kind of like go into it like knowing your text and like being confident in it. So I think they're really good on that part, from what I understand at least. And I mean, they just play a lot, so they get a lot of games, they practice a lot, and it pays off. Parallel is definitely the type of game that I feel like the more hours you put in and the more like you practice and you figure out your techs and the decks and all of that, it pays off. And I think that's the case.
Yeah, I think that shows a lot with Lamb because he's the one that played this weekend of the names listed because the other ones all had won their minors. But like the ratios are like you can tell there's a lot of thought. Like his Neve only had one embedded agent, but 3 Triumph of the Lost, right? Like those are things that like through iteration and like keep playing. Like all of us would be like, no, you front load the embedded agents. Triumph of the Lost isn't that great, but he probably played enough games where he's like, no, you need Triumph of the Lost in this matchup with this lineup. Even like his Hasty Gafar, which did well. Stuff like 3 altars of Gaias, where sometimes you see 2, or like he even had the Fungo Grenadiers. He kept 2 of them, where some people go to 1. Like the ratios are on point. Like I'm looking at all his lists now. Yeah. And like that's something that I think it comes with the amount of games, right? Like they even teched me answering is universal, right? So like all that stuff comes with a lot of games. And I think that they are very good at figuring out what they want to test and how much testing they need when they do get to that.
Definitely.
To me, it's just like the devil is in the details type of thing.
Yeah.
And they just like really kind of like pay attention to the details. They play a lot of games, so they're actually confident in the decisions they make on that, and it just pays off for sure.
Yeah, they'll always defend like the reasoning. Like Lambie, when he finishes a Swiss round or a tournament, if he gets knocked out or something, he always has a reason why he brought what he brought, and it's like usually not like, oh, I didn't know what to do, or like I was lost, or I thought this one deck was good, but I didn't know about the other. He's always like, no, this was the science. And I feel like everyone from DevMods, especially this season, I see it a lot more this season with them. That I say that now because I'm not a coach for Exile anymore, but like they are locked in. They are locked in on the DevMon side, and it's really cool to see.
Guys, can we just like I know we've acknowledged it so many times, but Lambie has 4,461 games. Like what the hell? It's absurd. And then the next in this top 16, the next most played player is BlizzCon Jan with 2,469. Nice. But you know, it's like kind of crazy how many games Lambie has, like over everybody else, you know? So
and he has over a 50% win rate on that. He has a 65% win rate with that many games. That's insane.
Absolutely insane. Ego Rick's really been crushing it this season, like a lot, right? I mean, he's doing quite well, but still,
I don't think people even understand the numbers. By the way, like the Lambie numbers, like I feel like you see them and you're like, okay, that's crazy, but I think it's crazier than you think. Like,
yeah, it's insane.
Like, that amount of games to me is not like I don't even know how. Like this is just not sleep or something. I kind of. Yeah.
$1K hours or something like that. Like that amount of games, there's no way you do that in like less than 1K hours.
Wait, Mookah, can we know like how many, like from what time this was, so we know how many games per day he's played? I feel like that would be interesting. Like,
yeah,
what's the average game per day that Lambie plays? I kind of want to know because like I know that I play like I don't know, like maybe 10 games a day, but like maybe a bit less. But I think Lambie has to be like.
Well, that's from Mark said that's from March to now.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
So
3 months.
That's from March?
3 months.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that correct?
So season 2. These are strictly the season 2 stats.
Yeah, these are just season 2 stats. That's like never mind. That's absurd. We need to get Lambie
like
a walking pad.
So you play like 50 games a day, something like that?
That's absurd. It's almost inhuman. Are you botting Lambie? Tell us now. Like, cards on the table. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean that's absolutely bonkers. So looking at these top 16 players, like who would you say is your pick to take the first major here? If you've got one. Or also just like if you there's like the favorite, who would you like to see take the win? But then also you know, statistically optimal choice, like who do you think would take it?
Zeli already committed to Zarathustra. Did you guys practice together? I know you normally do.
Yeah. My testing group, it's like Sarah, Meet, and me. Like I do sessions with Feno and Sequi as well, but like I practice with them like a lot. Like I try really hard with them. So like I mean I'm invested in this major because like I mean Sarah is going to play like something that we work together, right? So like I'm not saying that anyone else is going to win. The guy that's going to win is the guy that I'm going to help prep, basically.
Yeah. All right. And Zarathustra won the first major in season 1, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So that would be actually kind of wild if he won the first major of season 2. That'd be quite a cool stat to say. Fino, what about you? Who scares you?
I'm just doing the math right now. What Lambi had like 4,600 games, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
That's 30 games per day.
Still not over it.
How can you not pick him as the favorite, dude? You know, like, I mean, I think I would pick Lambi as a favorite because I think, I mean, to me, like, it's clear that he kind of wants it a lot. So I feel like the people who want it the most kind of are more likely to get it.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I also want Yarla to win a lot because I'm really close with Yarla. So, and he's an insane player. I think Lambi and Yarla for me are the picks.
It's so tough picking one. I look at this list. This is like a crazy major one, like cohort of people that are going in. Like, just seeing Yarla, BlizzCon Jan, Lambi, Viper alone is like, oh, this is kind of heated. And then there's a lot of other people that have topped multiple times before, like Fat Cat, Pandapple, Sora, Egoric, like all these guys. We have a few newer names, sure, but like it's a pretty freaking stacked top 16. If I have to pick one, oh man, I think I gotta pick BlizzCon Jan, man. I was scared of him in season 1. Like he was too young to like keep competing. But once he was out, I'm like, whew. But he was like one of those players that as a coach, I'm like, man, that kid is crazy. Like really good, really talented. And he just knows his stuff. Like it's insane. He's like a savant for TCGs. Like it's wild.
A true talent when it comes to TCGs. I agree. I'd personally love to see Fat Cat get a win. I mean, he's done so well in so many top 8s, that type of thing, and just barely doesn't quite get there sometimes. So I'd like to see him take it. But
Me too,
honestly,
actually. He's probably my third pick.
I would like him.
There's so many good players on this list, and as you said, there's a couple of newer players. Like I'm not too familiar with Decker.
That's the guy who picked me at the end, Ali.
Oh, really? At the end. Okay. Just kidding. Screw this guy. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't like him.
Well, if he can take you out, that's definitely saying something. So, good. Congrats to him for making it. But yeah, that's always hard. But it's nice to root for the person that takes you out. That's always because it feels better if they win in the end. Any other players that you want to highlight here that you think could be scary?
I mean, like, I don't think Viper gets enough recognition. We all know he's a very good player, and he won Major 3 last season. Yep. So I could see him winning it too. It depends. It's always funny because he always like has a message in Discord being like, I can't draw 1-drops with Siphius. Usually his main thing that he says, he's like, I can't draw 1-drops with Siphius. But like he's a very good player. I respect him a lot. So I could see him taking it. We're like picking all the players that are very good at Shroud, by the way. Like not to say that Shroud is the meta, but like I think that's the favorite for like a lot of these players. Aside from maybe Zarathustra from who Zeli picked. Like I don't think Shroud is his favorite. But Lambi, BlizzCon Jan, Viper, Yarla, like Shroud for I feel like all of those guys.
I like that Viper's always been, or he's played New Dawn from time to time, and I enjoy watching his New Dawn. But yeah, I mean, consistently, Neve just seems to be like I still would love a masterclass on Neve because it just keeps getting talked about how difficult it is to like really play optimally, even at the highest level. And it's, she still seems to be the favorite pick of the Shrouds. I wonder if that'll switch at some point. So
it's
Brand for
crazy because
life.
like
I just want to say that.
you
brand
said
for
brand
life.
for life?
Loves brand. He does.
Listen, I respect the brand love. For Neve, it's very interesting because like all those players that are good with Neve, they always say like the win. It's like a deck that has like what number do they throw like 45% into everything is like the meme that they throw that they say like she doesn't win every match like hard, but like she has a chance to win every match, and that's why they like playing her. Like if there is
I
a
think
skill
Neve
gap,
is
you can expose it with Neve.
it's the best all around deck if I had to pick for like parallel, and I think the good
Really?
players are kind of like attracted to that in a way because it doesn't feel like any matchup is too bad or unwinnable. So, and it kind of has answers to everything. It has tempo, it has removal, it has like controlling their opponent's hand. I think it's the most all around deck, like kind of controlling more, and it can do good against everything. So I think it's one of the reasons why it's attracting to the good players.
It's also
when
very
it
fun to play. It's
Yeah.
I
very
don't think
fun
it's
to
fun to
play.
play actually. I gotta disagree with that.
I feel like
Oh,
I'm stressed
really?
when I play
My
Neve.
preference.
Like for some reason, I like Iraq is technically a worse deck, but I have more fun comboing with Iraq. But with Neve, I'm stressed because like it's more setup, I guess, than combo. So I'm like, oh man, like you have to think like a lot of turns into with Iraq. You're just like, I play the card, I make the nanobots, I put the nanobots here, I do the things, and it's like very active. But with Neve, it's like, okay, whatever decision I made now, that decides my next 3 turns of how I'm playing. And like if I mess that up, like it's tough. So like that's where I get stressed with Neve. I don't know. It's not the most fun for me for sure.
The Neve mirror gets talked about a lot. Zelly and Feno, do you have any, just general insight for the listeners just on like how to operate that?
To me, it kind of just came with experience. I remember, like, at some point, Neve was, like, by far the best deck, and I had, like, some crazy amount of games with it, and I remember I've gotten really good in the mirror. Nowadays, I don't know how much it's changed, because honestly, I fell in love with Brand, and then Neve was, like, okay, and I just stuck with Brand, and now she's kind of good again, but I don't really care, because I've lost the connection, But I think I think it really just depends on like you knowing kind of like the plan and kind of like trying to play around cards well, not overextending. Triumph of Mars is like a big thing. Triumph of the
The
Lost.
loss. Yeah.
Yeah, Triumph of the Lost. That's like a really big thing to kind of like play around. I think I see that a lot with like the good players. Treacherous scheming is big, knowing when to play it, like what to steal. Um, all of that stuff is like kind of important. And I think just whoever kind of like understands it better and is gonna have an advantage on it.
Yeah, Zelly, what about you? Anything to add to that, or
I
did you
mean,
sum it up?
one advice I would give in that matchup for people that are very new to it is like you have to realize when you're going to lose the board and just take a step back, draw some cards so you can go in dominion that board. You have to do
Mhm.
it because if you keep fighting, you will lose even harder. So like yeah, and that applies like into most matchups that like have like low HP minions. You have to know when you lost it. You have to know. You just lost the board. You have to set up Dominion, and the way you set up Dominion is you draw cards. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So going into some deeper deck dive discussion. So Lambie brought Neve and Uni and Gafar. And then Fat Cat also brought Gafar and Uni, and they were the top 2 point earners in this top 16 here. So any mention or points to talk about with Gafar and Uni?
Gafar is
To me,
crazy.
Gafar, like I haven't really seen it that much. It was like kind of the first time that I saw like the hasty. I don't know. I haven't really seen that much on ladder, but I guess now it's kind of like now I see it a lot. Um, yeah, that deck I think is really good. And it's still kind of like being refined on. So to me, Gafar is one of those decks that it just needs a little bit more time to get like kind of fully refined, and especially with hasty, it seems like it's really strong. So I think that was actually a great pick, especially because I think they were banning green, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think.
So that one was good. And I mean, Uni is also just like a completely
they were
fine
running
deck.
green.
Pretty good all around. So
what do you guys think about Uni coming back with like Hacker? Like everyone when Hacker was at 5 was like Uni's not playable, and then like it's still the same deck, but like I guess there's more of a dependence on the 2-drops. Like you went from like caring about the ladies, which you still care about, to like caring about Desmond, and it's like this Desmond board flood thing.
I mean, the thing is, like, Hacker drawing a card, it's huge because then you have like a Hacker that is not going to be 5 cost, is maybe going to be 3 cost or whatever. You play Desmond and then you start drawing cards like you're playing other card game. I don't know, like maybe you're playing like Pokemon TCG where you draw like 7 cards in a turn and then you play everything and then like boom, he dies, something like that. So yeah, I think it's just like the Hacker drawing 1 makes you have like, you have 3 researchers that draw 1, then you have like the 3 cunning diplomats, and then you have 3 hackers, right? All of them are playable, so you can keep cycling your hand so you can find the ladies, which was always the issue. The issue with Uni was always finding the lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Just love that. Always finding the ladies is the hardest part, man.
Yep.
It seems like a lot of people have a Cyberdeck console in most of the Uni lists too. Is that like, what do you guys think of that? Any particular like use case that the people are trying to snipe with it, or is it just like an all around good card?
I think relics are also like good in Uni, right? Because like they give the ladies an extra like target. I don't know if Zeli probably knows better what they're specifically trying to take with it, but there's also kind of like a lot of reveal as well. So I think you also take advantage of the draw card at some points, but I don't know if there's a specific one they wanna.
By the way, that card never draws cards. Like almost never draws cards.
Me in the tournament, so I don't know, dude.
But like the Cyberdeck is just like treasure scheming, counter treasure scheming. You always have a tree in your hand, and also like when you build a board of cheaters, like you're cunning diplomat, gunslinger, whatever, and then they try to dominion you, so you don't have targets. You just counter the dominion with like a 1 cost that you don't even want. Right? Yeah. So it's specifically for Shroud. It's also good into Gafar because Gafar also wants to play hasty, and you play a decent amount of 5s already because you only need 1 hacker. You would definitely discard Wong or Sareen or whatever to -5 mana your opponent. So yeah,
it's just the type of card that also makes them play differently, right? Because like, say that you see it on the board and like you have the hasty, you're like, oh man, should I do it? And like even if they don't have the 5, a lot of the times they don't do it, right? So it's like it's the type of card that's like kind of like good to bluff with as well, or like force them to play differently in a way.
No, but the guy that plays it also plays different, because sometimes you play something for tempo, but you want to keep it because, like, let's say it's the only 2 you have, right? And you want to have a counter to collateral damage, something like that. But so you don't play it into a board.
The other person doesn't know, so there's no.
But both players play different when the card's on the board, basically.
Yeah.
Love it. No, that's a great breakdown, honestly. Is hasty mobilization too good? Like
I think I've been thinking that since the first time I saw the card, and I think now it was just the time that like everything lined up, and it's like
we had so like even when I was a player, like I was like, oh, should we buff hasty? Like hasty's not hitting, and I remember in Vegas for Worlds, I had talked to Veen before I was on the team, and I was like, we were like, we should buff hasty. He's like, dude, hasty's cracked. He's like, I will not let anyone push me. Like Veen, working with Veen, he's always open to his opinions here and there, and like you can convince him to an idea if it's like a sound enough thing. But with like cards like Hasty, he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, like Hasty is like in its best form that it can be right now. Like that card is so good. And as we got better cards, like with Gafar was it, we made Peacekeeper better. And then suddenly they had enough mid-range cards that you can now hasty into them and it's cracked. Like even if your mid-game, your early game's not super great, like hitting 2 5s on hasty wins you the game. Like it's so good.
Yeah, I remember me and Zeli had like a list of like the top tier cards of the Aftermath, and we had hasty like 2 or something, and it wasn't hitting that well at the start, but I always knew that card was gonna be broken like at a certain point where green.
Also like now we have like better 5s. Like Sareen is like Sareen something. Cyrene is something. You know, it's something.
It's
It's definitely something. It's like Soleia on something. You know,
well,
it's like better than
particularly
Soleia as a legendary. I don't know.
particularly in Gafar too, because they have Peacekeeper now, which is like so insanely good, right? So what? There's Cyrene, Peacekeeper, Solea, Wong. Maybe that's it, but still,
I've
like
seen
that's
a
a
version with Hacker. Perp was playing against me in
Yeah.
a version that was playing Hackers in.
oh wow,
Because that's
really?
really good. Like even the extra card you get, like I don't even think you care that much about the cost. It's like you get a 5-drop and you also draw a card. That's pretty
Actually,
good.
I
That's
agree.
why I was saying that it kind of needs
The cost change
refinement.
doesn't matter.
That makes
Say it
sense.
again.
That's you said the cost change doesn't matter, like that with the hacker. But even in that case, it does work because if you draw into the expensive stuff and it's swapped well, then you have like a a 2-cost peacekeeper or something that you draw into. That's super interesting, dude. I love players like Perp, man. Like even seeing him in this tournament, he had brought the workshop. Like we didn't talk about Augencore much, but I still don't think Augencore is at the point like ladder ready, sure, but like the tournament innovation, at least in this tournament, made me really happy. Like I still wouldn't say it's like the best deck to bring, but they did a damn good job of making it competitive. I like Zelly's version more, like with the Iraq. But I think the workshop, like they both did the same thing. It was like fragmented plating with Master Poisoner, but that combo was really cool to see. And then playing like this tempo game. If your workshop, you do more of like the stun tempo like you normally do, and then the Iraq is more of this combo synergy. But I was very happy to see that. I like Augencore is like one of those parallels that doesn't. I just don't think even if we make it better, which I think it is getting better in Deception, at least with my playtesting, there's going to be more people that will playtest it soon with the public test server and stuff like that. But I think Augencore is in a very good shape going into Deception or in Deception. But like we still don't have enough cooks in the kitchen with that parallel. That like I don't know, like even as a designer, you don't know if it'll catch up. Because like we have great like Cathari Theory Crafters, Markolian, Shroud, even Earthen, but like there's very few high level players that are like cooking with Augencore.
I think it's because like it's just a hero. It's like basically to me like workshop is just a hero power kind of like.
Yeah.
Like the token is just so insane that like I feel like the rest of the deck a lot of the times like doesn't even matter. Like when I'm Kathy, for example, I feel like if they just remove my stuff and they have the token, they're kind of just win, you know. So I think that's kind of the thing about it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much there is to do with it, really. I feel like it's kind of like the coin machinist and then the Sestmir and all of that type of stuff. But I feel like upgrades for me don't really fit that well in the workshop. I don't know. I
No,
always
it's
felt
not.
kind of
I
weird
agree.
playing upgrades in workshop. Iraq, it definitely feels good, but workshop just feels like you just want to play like good cards and not like situational and snowball the token.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're 100% correct.
The only upgrade I would play in like workshop is repeater cannon and nothing else. I don't care about anything else. Just give
No,
me
that's
repeater cannon and kill switch. That's it.
that's
Not
how it goes.
even
Because like it's very
upcycle?
interesting when. No, I don't think so. I don't even run. Like I've been taking Zelly's Iraq list, and I took out like the late game cards and upcycled. He ran one upcycled in yours, right? And then I just took like mid range cards. I put like Grawl, and I actually put repeater cannons in my Iraq, and like it's doing well too. But my point is like I don't think you need the big like. You don't need the big stuff as much, like to cheat out upcycled or anything like that. Like the mid range is so strong with Augencore now.
Yeah.
Can you play a rack on ladder? And does it do
No,
well enough?
not like really good. Probably
No.
probably to like high diamond if you're good enough. Like, but master and stuff, like you're gonna struggle. Like Shroud matchups are very tough. You get very lucky. Like I think I played Zelly on ladder yesterday and I got lucky and I was able to like cheese out a win. But like it's not an easy matchup. It got better with us letting salvage work with banish. That did get better. There's some cheeky plays that I've gotten off where it's like, oh, if this was like how it was before, I would have definitely lost if I wasn't able to salvage this upgrade. But it's not. It still needs help with Shroud for sure.
It was just funny because I remember I asked Zelly like, oh yeah, you know, like Iraq now, like the banish doesn't work. He's like, oh no, bro, you still lose like really badly this round. And it was kind of funny because I just assumed it would be fine, and then Zelly was like, oh no, it's not really fine, you know.
It's definitely better, but it's not. It's
better,
not
yeah.
there yet. It's not there yet. Like I mean, the thing is like the other Shroud Paragons aren't as bad, but Neve is just hurts, man. Like Neve hurts a lot. Like the right Dominion can set you back from doing so much.
Actually,
but-
I disagree. I think Nif is the most winnable.
Really, I could see
Yeah,
it.
because
Okay.
the other guys just get to 8, clear everything, and you die, and you never kill them before 8. It's impossible to
It's a
kill them
big
with a
race.
wreck.
No, that's true.
It's
That's why I
impossible to
took
kill them
your
for
list
8.
and I put repeater cannons in it because I was like, dude, I need to race more. And it's like so weird because repeater cannon does not fit in a rack. Like it's very awkward. But like if you get a good like provisioner, like the 2 cost, and you can beef them up a little bit, you can cheese games with the repeater. I've done it a few times so far. But like regardless, the point is that it's tough. It's still tough with Shroud. I think some of our deception cards make the early game better. Like I think certain cards are a little underrated, like the stealth card that we have and the 1-drop upgrade that you put on your opponent's units. I like those cards a lot. Iraq has fun stuff. Like Ravenous Swarm is super cool. We'll see how Pulse Tap goes by the end of it. But right now, I'll say with Deception, I think Pulse Tap is like just like makes it Shroud one of the weaker decks right now because like you cheese so much energy. Like it's insane.
What is Pulse Tab again?
Pulse Tap's
Remind
the
viewers.
3-cost relic that anytime a friendly unit enters your side of the board, it gets a counter, and then once per turn you can activate, remove all the counters, you gain that much energy to a max of 10.
Oh wow!
So picture that, like I've been using it with a rack internally, and like all the nanobots give you extra counters. So like even if there's some games where you could do like crazy turns, disclaimer, everything is subject to balance before we get to deception release. We're doing way more deception testing than we've ever done. We're going to do the public test server. I was actually able to get a test group that will actually, a few players that are competing. Like Zelly was one of the players I asked, but he said no because he wants to compete. But I got a few good players to go and try it with us. So that'll be fun. We are shooting for the quality benchmark on this one. So I'm very excited, but it takes sorry for taking a little away from the major discussion, but like,
no. I think
I like the Ogden Core development. There's still room to go, and hopefully it gets there a bit better with Deception.
Yeah, just one more Deception question. Who do you think who's getting the most love, or what class?
Oh, that's so tough. I don't know. I really like. I'm a little biased because I think Iraq's like very playable, so I like the Ogden Core stuff. But like Marco's getting really cool. The Irregulars are sick. Like, I think Lemmy is super underrated. We revealed the Lemieux's Rain card, which is like the Paragon ability, but an effect, and it creates an irregular. I don't think that got enough highlight. I think Lemmy, my hot take is right now, I think Lemmy's stronger than Catherine, for sure, in Deception. And the Irregulars are crazy.
I don't know.
But we'll see. We will see. That's what testing does, right? I'm one person. Like a lot of our high intensity games are like me and Sparrows going at it and trying concepts. But like I really like Lemmy. That's what I think. I think Ogden Core got some love, but you have to like it's a little big brainy. So like it's not like we might struggle with like the intuitiveness of it. And then yeah, what else? Shroud is good. Shroud, we have to see how stealth works. Like, because they got some stealth cards. They have some cool cards too. Like Solace is super fun to play with. That's the legendary that bounces and makes it corrupted, and all the units your opponent draws get corrupted. So you kind of like burn, and it's shielded to. It's a shielded 4-cost 2/5 or 2/6. So it's like a really good tempo play. And then
by the way, that
there's
card's broken.
that card's really good.
By the way,
And then there's Leonid's Influence, which is the card Viper revealed yesterday, which is the 1-cost effect that bounces a card and makes it corrupted. So like cards like that, like you got to see what happens like with like players of like high skill caliber, how it works, and then at the same time, is it fun for everybody else who's not on the top end, right? Because that's what the main kind of goal that you're shooting for. Are these changes fun? Are these new cards fun? So we'll see. But right now, I like the Irregulars. I think they're sick. I really like Ogden Core stuff. Those are the two things I've been jamming with. I will say Sparrows came up with a Fatigue Shoshana, which is like has me it's cracked. It's really good. And I'm like, bro, we might have to do something about this before it comes out.
I will tell you something from my experience in Hearthstone. No matter what you played or thing is good, is not gonna be.
Oh, like, without a doubt.
Like once you open the gates,
then the players really figure it out, man. That's why I'm so excited
to even think would matter.
I'm so excited to get testing.
Crazier stuff.
That's why I'm so happy to get testing out with this expansion, right? Like we've never done that before to this caliber, to have like an external playtester group having the public test server for people to go in and play it. Like if the public test server goes well, we might do multiple windows of it. So people will get to play it multiple times, and we can like make changes as we see what players come up with. So this is going to be very fun. I want more players to touch Deception because, you're so freaking right, man. Like, we're only a small subset of people.
I'm telling you from my Hearthstone experience, like every time I play tested something, I'm like, I figured it out. This is it. One day into the expansion, nothing mattered. Like whatever I had was like pointless. Someone figured out like a 20 times more OP thing.
100%.
I'm willing to bet like a lot that whatever you think is gonna be good is like someone will just figure something better, or like it won't even be that good.
I would take that bet against myself. Like I'd be on your side for sure.
At least that's
Even
what
with
my
the
experience has
playtesters.
shown me, So.
Yeah.
Even with the
100%.
playtesters, like the really good, I think you're still a lot.
You want to get it as close as you can because you'll never get it. You'll never get it fully there. I think what I like about us at Parallel is that like we are not afraid to make changes, right? It's for better or for worse, depending on who you ask. Like most other games would not do a shotgun patch or an alpha rework or something like that, right? So like as long as we can like put cards in like the best state possible before it goes out, and then we are accepting that like sometimes we mess up here and there, and instead of never touching it and letting players like suffer, we're willing to make changes. Like I think that gives us an edge and it makes the game fun.
Yeah. And just identifying the truly broken stuff, like getting ahead of, something that might just feel terrible like that.
Yeah, there's some stuff that will be obvious, right? That it's like, okay, but to Feno's point, there's going to be stuff that I've never even thought about. And I'm like, oh man, like this guy figured it out. Like
even when
cards, when cards get revealed, some people will say certain combos or interactions. And I'm like, man, we didn't think about that one. Like, oh god, okay, is that fine? Is that not fine? That kind of thing. So yeah, I derailed a little bit with Deception talk, but it is an exciting moment, right? We're all ready for the next expansion, and we're doing a lot of work on the back end to make it a memorable drop.
Honestly, I'm really happy with the shotgun parts, I gotta say, because like I honestly didn't expect it to change that much and to be this good and to be this fun. Because I know a lot of people were complaining that it's kind of like gotten stale or something, but to me, the shotgun parts was like so much better than I thought. Like it changed the meta quite a bit, and it was way more fun and like exciting than I expected, honestly. So yeah, props for that.
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate it. I think at the end of the day, our data shows that it worked. Like the stuff that's at the top is still at the top, sure, but it did work in terms of like sparking creativity, and that meant we can now do this as a regular thing. So that if it failed and it flopped, we were probably never going to do it again. But like it worked, and so we're going to definitely be more open to doing that a lot more, or more often for sets.
It's kind of weird because it's a completely new experience. Like new expansions are a whole bunch of new cards, right? But like a rehaul of that many existing cards that people were familiar with, like I've never experienced anything like it playing a card game before. So it was like not a new expansion, but it's just like a new experience entirely. So yeah, props to the team. You guys did a great job.
Appreciate it.
All right. We are nearing the end of the episode here. So, Feno, Zelly, do you have any closing thoughts about the major, like biggest takeaway from last weekend? Any, final thoughts going into the top 16? Zelly, we'll start with you.
I think it's going to be a very fun tournament. I think there's a lot of variance in every deck. It's a lot of heroes, a lot of cool stuff you can do in the deck right now. The 5s are very OP, and they dictate the pace of the game right now. And there's also room for creativity. I think as long as you're not playing Jan, Lemieux, or Neos, you're fine and everything is playable.
I think Lem is fine.
Okay.
Wait, that's a hot take, by the way. That's a very hot take.
I don't think I disagree with Feno because I've seen.
I don't think it's comparable to Neus and the other guy.
Yeah,
that's fair. Don't lump Lemmy in with that.
He doesn't even name John. He's just like the other guy.
The other guy.
Shosh?
But yeah, I think everything will be very fun to watch. I'm looking forward to Sequinox on the chat pointing out every misplay. That's what I'm looking most forward about. Yeah.
Okay. Love it. Feno, how about you?
I mean, to me, the major was really fun because there was a lot of like new stuff and a lot of like kind of surprises for me in the meta that I didn't expect, and it was just interesting to watch because like I know that the next one, like the top 16, is gonna be even more interesting now with kind of like everyone like refining it and kind of like having the data of like seeing what's up. So I think it's gonna be even more interesting now where everyone's gonna like have a better idea of what to expect. But yeah, honestly, I just want to give a shout out to the team. I was telling Mookah and Ali this earlier because like I've honestly had such a good experience with Parallel lately. The last couple of months, like I've almost had I want to say zero bugs. I haven't bugged out. I haven't like deceived or lagged or anything. So big props to the team for that. Everyone working on it because like from a couple of months ago, the difference to me is like crazy, and the whole experience is just much better. Like just playing day to day, even from my iPad, because I'm an iPad gamer and I just play a lot from there. And it's just been so smooth lately, and I just wanted to give a shout out to the team about that.
Yeah. Particularly this last patch too. You guys did an amazing job. So yeah, that's probably a good way to end it. I want to give just like we go through all 16 players just to give them their shout so the people know who you're going to see this weekend. So we've got in order from the seeds, we got Egoric, Yarla, BlizzCon Jan, Lambie, Very Fat Cat, Jetiel, Destroyer, Jisoo, Decker, Harold, Sora, Pandapple, Zarathustra, Gorek, Viper, and Never Lucky. So those are your top 16 players going into the weekend. Should be pretty exciting. You'll catch Mookah and I on the cast, Zelly and Feno in the chat as well. And yeah, thanks guys for coming on. It's always good to have you on, Feno. Zelly, it was great to have you on the show for the first time. Thanks to the listeners at home. For anyone that writes a comment, gives a thumbs up, the engagement is greatly appreciated. Or if you share it on X, Twitter, whatever. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you later.
This was a 983 Media Productions podcast.